That's it. We're live. Just like that. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yep.
Sound great.
Oh, perfect. Ooh, you got a good voice for radio.
I've heard that before.
One of our previous guests, I told him we were doing video, and he made the comment that he has a good face for radio, and I thought that was pretty good. It's a good dad joke.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So welcome to Residing in North Idaho. My name is Seth Horst. My lovely and talented wife, Kristen. I always introduce you that way.
I know. It's how you do it.
That's how I do it. I need to change it up a little bit. I don't know. I'll think about that later.
I could introduce myself.
Yeah. Sure. You do that. You want to do it?
No, you already did
Okay,
it.
okay,
We can
okay.
move on.
And today we have our friend Justin Scotch with us, and he is a member, a local law enforcement member. And we wanted to have him come on and kind of discuss like crime in the area and what law enforcement does, the whole feeling of it. So that's why we're here. You might recognize the last name. One of our previous guests is his spouse. So here we are. And thanks for joining us, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. How long you been in law enforcement? I guess let's go that route.
January 1st will be 11 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
Up there.
It's going by fast.
I remember like when I started in law enforcement, my previous job, if you didn't know that, when I got to a year, I was like, all right, I know a little bit. When I get to 5 years, I know I'm going to know what I'm doing. Right. And then I got to 5 and I'm like, I still don't feel like I know that much. And then, all right, when I get to 10, that's it. I guess by 10, I was like, I kind of knew what I was doing, but
yeah, it's hit that point for me. I remember my first couple of years, all I worried about, because I moved across the country for this job. It was my dream to be a police officer. And my biggest worry was, oh, don't get fired. Don't do something, anything, don't break a policy. And I'm like, going to work 11 years, another day.
Just normal stuff now. Yeah, totally. That's right. You grew up on the East Coast,
I did.
as did I.
Yeah. So I found that out.
Yes.
We had no idea.
No, that's so weird.
We are probably a couple hundred miles away from each other, if that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to your wife and she's like, I was saying I grew up in upstate New York, and she's like, oh, so did Justin. I was like, what? How did I not know this? And you were like real upstate though.
Yeah. Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
Cows and cornfields.
Yeah. So the weather here must be nothing for you because it's harsher over there, in my opinion.
It's a lot more humid.
Yeah.
Up there, but it's very similar. I kind of compare it to Bonner's Ferry.
Yeah.
Adirondack Mountains, trees. It's
Totally.
very similar, but a lot more humid in the summers, and
Brutal.
the snow's pretty much the same, I think.
Yeah.
From here to there. So,
I thought it was colder over there. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. It's been pretty cold here the past couple of years. We were just talking last night, Jackie and I, that I think it was the end of November, we had our first storm here, and then it was like 2 degrees.
Yeah.
Negative at night in 1st of December. So I think it's actually colder here from what I remember.
You live up farther north than us, though. We're
that's
city
true.
dwellers.
Yeah, I'm wondering
I'm in
because
the
I
snow
know.
belt.
Yeah, because when your parents were living there, they would call and be like, "Yeah, we're walking to." They worked at a college, and they'd say, "We're walking to the college, and it was negative 20 today, and we were like freezing." And I was like, "Holy crud!"
Harsh.
Yeah, that was no thanks.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, so you ended up here for the job, right?
That's correct.
That's wild too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had never been to Idaho. I think I knew potatoes came from Idaho, somewhere in the state.
Idaho
That's about it.
potatoes. Yeah.
I just knew I wanted to be a police officer, and an opportunity came up, and I took it.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
That's kind of, I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, you kind of got to go where the work is. I mean, I tested numerous departments. I tested on the East Coast too. I always ended up moving. I moved back to the West Coast prior to getting hired there, but I tested for NYPD, Boston Troopers. I feel like there was another one in there. Then I moved to the West Coast and then got on with CHP. But yeah, it's like, got to do what you got to do to get the job.
I did the same thing. I was in the process with a couple different agencies, and my agency over here called up, said, "Hey, we'll meet us here for the academy." And I did it. And then I was in the academy when I got a call from another agency. "We'd love to do your polygraph in Buffalo." Sorry,
I'm good.
pull my name out. I'm gone. And that was it.
Yeah. That's crazy. So, I guess we did want to touch on, because we get a lot of questions about like crime. This is funny. Every person that moves up here from another state, like this happened with my last clients, and it happens even with like retired cops. They come here and they're like, their mentality is wherever they came from, and they don't understand that Idaho is totally different. Like, we had a client move up and they had to get a rental for a month downtown Coeur d'Alene, and they were so nervous about parking their cars on the street. And I'm like, trust me, I'm like, I live downtown. I've never had a problem. My cars are always parked on the street or in front of my house. And the guy, he didn't sleep the whole first night he was here. He was so stressed about his cars out there. And he like got so stressed about it that he realized in the morning that he had left his car keys on the front porch the whole night. Everything was fine. And I'm like, there you go. Like, you're good.
I mean, I wouldn't suggest he leaves his door on.
No. Right.
But yeah, I mean, we certainly get the reports from the local PD that, hey, these cars have been stolen, or we get the LPR reports, but it's not like other states where cars are getting jacked or keyed or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens, but not at that amount.
Where I worked in California, and it was sort of rural, so there was a lot of drugs there, so we had a lot of crime, I guess. But the stolen reports were like nonstop stolen cars in the morning. Like if you work day shift, you roll up and like you're going out to take some stolen cars.
Right.
If you work graveyards, you're picking up abandoned vehicles that were stolen. So it was like a nonstop. And then I come here and I'm like, I don't hear that very often. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, the reports I've seen, it's just to put a number on it, maybe 2 to 4 a week from like Coeur d'Alene Police Department.
Yeah,
but
that's not bad.
Yeah, but then you have the county. I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like it's 15, 20 a day or anything like that.
Right. And some of that could be a function of like a smaller population, right? Because
sure,
we're not a huge population up here. So I guess there's that factor. But yeah, it's funny. Back to the people moving here. I've also had a lot of our clients are first responders coming from other areas that have retired or just want to relocate. And they always come up here and they're like, this stress is palpable on them. And some of it's coming from the job. Some of it's coming from where they're coming from. So, I just like try to talk to him. Like, you need to like, just breathe into it. Like this place will fix you for sure. I mean, when I moved up here, I didn't even know I was chronically stressed. And then after about a year, I was like, man, I feel like pretty good. It's a good place. Like I feel overall like really safe living here.
That's good. I can't even pretend I know that feeling because I didn't come from a state where it's constant 10, 12-hour shift of action.
Yeah.
Here it's kind of ebbs and flows. And sometimes we're up and we're super stressed out from a situation or a call, but it's not all day. It's not all shift, which is nice. So I can't even pretend I know what that feels like to come from that to this. Where
there's levels, right? Like even where I worked, we had downtime, but I know a guy that worked Metro Las Vegas, and it was like, dude, his stories are incredible. You're like, you didn't even do the same job I did. Like, I don't even know what you did, man. That's crazy. And then we have another guy moving up here, client, and he's a homicide detective in like a big Bay Area, California department. And he's been on over like 200 homicides. Yeah. When you think about that, you're just like, dude, the level of trauma this guy is carrying with him. He needs a place like this.
He needs the beach and the lake.
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
Put him in the right mind.
He needs a few acres up in Apple where he can just chill. And
absolutely.
And there's crime everywhere, and there's going to be crime everywhere. I pulled these stats off of niche.com. We've used them before, but I think it shows the national average, and then it shows and this is just for Coeur d'Alene. But we're well below the national average for most categories. I'm actually really surprised that rape is very high.
Well, okay, so it's a resort town, right? When you have people partying in downtowns, whether it's like a college town or a resort town, I think that's probably going to drive that number up higher. So yeah, right. That could account for that.
But like, if you look at all these other things, look at robbery, it's 15 and national average is 135.
That's per 100,000 residents, yes. By the way. Yeah. That's quite a bit lower. Murder is 1.9
versus 6.1 national average.
Mm-hmm. Assault isn't that much lower.
No,
that surprises me. That's once again, it's like, I think a vibrant downtown when you have a lot of bars and stuff. Like, do you guys get?
So that's what I was going to talk about. So for a while I ran our department's DUI team.
Yeah.
And I was also part of the North Idaho DUI task force. So I was kind of one of the supervisors that coordinated a lot of our events. I think it was 2019. Coeur d'Alene was the drunkest city in the state of Idaho.
Really?
It was part of like a national article and a national study they did.
That's interesting.
And we were having a lot of fatality crashes. So that is a statistic that we saw an influx of. And just my department alone, we're 500 to 600 DUI arrests a year just in the 5 northern counties.
That's impressive.
So that is something that we do. We're really working on curbing that issue because we get a lot of drunk drivers, a lot of DUI arrests, and we do have quite a number of fatalities. We're just trying to reduce that to zero.
Yeah,
that's the target.
I wonder if some of that has to do with the fact that it is a lake town. Like people at the beach or boating or whatever seem to like to drink while they do that. And then also we have the bars and downtown, but
it's so surprising to me because, I go to bed at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock every night, and we live downtown, but I know none of this is going on. I'm just blissfully unaware of the party scene down there. I have no idea.
Every once in a while we hear a drunk person like walking by our house and hollering, but it's very rare.
I know sometimes when I'm on duty working night shift, and when I was working the DUI team, I would drive downtown. And you'd see some fights, big crowds, and then poof, there's all the police officers. And I'm thinking, oh wow, I'm in the middle of this. Here we go. So
we were told by locals that COVID really amped things up with like people coming from Spokane, because Spokane was shut down, and then Idaho was somewhat open.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So all the numbers went way up.
Yeah, everybody from Washington, because they closed the bars, coming downtown. And they actually, they kind of started a downtown task force, and then they would call every other department in the local metro area. We need help. And we'd just flood downtown because we fights. There was a shooting, all sorts of stuff. But now that Washington's fully open, from what I know,
it's calmed down a bit.
Back down.
Yeah. That's good. I bet you guys saw an uptick in DUIs at that time too, because you have people from Washington driving back to Washington.
Yeah. Was it 20? I want to say 2020. We had 604 DUI arrests just that year.
Dang.
In our department.
Yeah.
Think about all the other departments working this area.
That's quite a bit for a huge population.
And not a huge department. I mean, we're not this massive department of hundreds of officers in this area. So,
well, to avoid that, folks, don't drive around at 2 a.m, and you can avoid most of that.
Or just don't drink and drive.
Yeah, that's the advice. Don't drink and drive.
I should have prefaced that and say, if you don't want to get involved in a crash caused by someone else that's been drinking, don't drive around 2 a.m. That's what I meant to say. That's what my mind was telling me. Yeah. I used to love DUIs were like my jam, dude. Like they were so fun. I loved hooking DUIs. That was my favorite thing to do as a cop. I'll be honest.
That's my passion. My favorite thing.
That's awesome. It feels like the thing you can do that makes the biggest difference too.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, you've saved lives.
Stopping someone for 10 miles an hour over. I mean, yes, traffic safety is important, and we need to curb that. We should do the speed limit.
Right.
But there's just something about getting a drunk driver off the road, or a large amount of narcotics or something like that. That's where I feel like, okay, I'm making a difference today.
For sure. Yeah, those are the best. Do you have any like really good DUI stories that you could share that are like friendly, family friendly?
I think this was probably my second year. I guess maybe my first full year. I just got off field training, and I ended up. It wasn't even a traffic stop. It was a motorist assist, just kind of North Coeur d'Alene area, middle of a 4-way busy intersection in town. And there was this Mustang pulled over. I'm like, I better check on this. So I walk up and I'm talking to the lady, kind of notice some smells coming out of the car in terms of drugs, and her eyes are bloodshot, glassy, all the standard stuff. You go, this person might be high or drunk. And I noticed that she had like one of those pullover like seat covers. Thought, that's kind of interesting. Oh, it's moving. She had a 6-foot boa constrictor.
Oh my gosh.
So at the time, my sergeant and another teammate show up on scene, and I pull her out to do standardized field sobriety test. And she goes, I would really feel more comfortable having the snake around my neck. So, hey, can you put the snake in the car? Well, she had her grandson in the car who was 6 years old. I'm like, I don't want to leave this. I don't know what the snake's going to wrap around the kid. And I'm dealing with another issue. And I asked her to put the snake in the trunk. I'm like, okay, then I'm going to kill $1,000 snake and be on the hook for that. I'd really feel comfortable having it on my neck. This is not standardized at all. Let's do it. So I actually have a picture of me doing HGN, my finger out in front, and the snake is away from her body, right next to
Oh,
me. Like
no, thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's a really cool photo.
That is a great
we
story.
were hoping to use it for like a billboard or something. I love that photo because it was just such a cool, full uniformed officer and this lady, and she's smiling and doing this, and the snake's just looking at me.
That's a great,
with the tongue out.
That's a keeper right there.
Yeah.
What a great photo.
Yeah, I'll have to show you sometime. It's pretty good.
So I'm so curious, if you ended up arresting her, what happened with the snake?
So she did go to jail that day.
Yeah.
It was, a meth DUI.
Oh.
And what had happened is she ran out of fuel right in the middle of that intersection, and her husband was walking down to the gas station. He shows up, he swapped over the snake, and I took her to jail.
Okay, so, easy.
Yeah, that one worked out well.
There's usually a solution, I guess.
Yeah, I've had other situations where I am bringing animals to the pound, and dogs run away, and we're doing so many issues.
Oh man, you're speaking my language.
Yeah, I've dealt with a lot of. I used to call myself either the animal whisperer or animal control because I've had all the weird animal stories. I was bitten by a cat and had to have my rabies shots.
Oh.
Like the day of it was Christmas Day and then New Year's Day, I had to have all the extra shots, and they have a picture of me sitting in the hospital bed getting all these different rabies shots. I think the first injection was 10 different injections, 2 in each thigh, 1 in each arm, and 4 in the bite.
Oh my God.
Weird, just weird animal stories. A lot of weird things.
That is like, yeah, they're
it
out
was
there.
in Athol that the cat bit me. So,
man,
of course.
My favorite DUI story it was such irony. It was amazing. I'm sure you've heard these. I know you have. You get the 911 caller that's like, hey, I want to report a drunk driver. Cool. We get them all the time. Keep doing that, by the way. They're great. I've arrested a lot of DUIs that way. I get this call and I'm, okay, hey, the reporting party is going to pull in behind me. I'm going to pull over the car that he's calling about. I pull it over. He pulls in behind me. I go up and talk to the car that he called in. And it was just a kid on his phone. No big deal. I go back to tell him that, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, man,
oh no,
have you been drinking? And he's like, whoa, like I had a beer earlier. I'm like, no way. So I go through the motions. I end up arresting the dude that called in another guy for being drunk. It was like, wow, what a weird world.
I'd like to be surprised, but that doesn't surprise me.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty funny.
I've also had where I arrested a gal one time and she called her dad to come pick her up. Dad shows up. Dad's drunk. Now they're both going to jail together.
Yeah, that happens quite often. When people will show up to our crash scenes and, oh, you're drunk as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now I'm going to have to deal with this. Thanks. Yeah. Do you guys get a lot of wild animals hit out there?
All the time.
I imagine some big ones too.
Every time I go down my road, I almost hit an elk probably a month ago on my road. And turkeys every day, but then you get out on US 95, moose, elk, deer, had a bear.
Huh?
Yeah, we actually had a moose get hit I-90 in Post Falls, right in the middle of the city. Big moose, and then the baby as well. So it was terrible to see. And,
yeah,
you have to deal with the road. People are hitting it.
That's
trying
a mess
to get it out at the same time.
And they're huge.
Dangerous.
Massive.
Yeah.
I've seen one actually tuna canned a Subaru wagon one time. We had to life flight the people out.
Oh man.
Ended up living, but it's just terrible.
That's a big fear of mine because I've seen that crash. People hitting like a horse or something or a cow and like
completely rips the top off the car and goes right through the vehicle. So
insane,
nasty. Yeah.
Kristen came on a ride along with me one time and she helped me pull a dead black bear out of the freeway over in Humboldt County because I think it was big. I literally could not pull it by myself. So that was an exciting ride along.
Yeah.
I always try anytime she came on a ride along, I was like, I'm going to make this kind of boring because I don't want anything bad to happen while we're together and the kids are at home. So, that was cool. That was,
I got to see a hoarder once.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was exciting.
I pulled this lady over that the hoarders that there was
she can only
no
fit
room
in her car.
Oh, wow.
Everything jammed around the gas pedal and the brake
newspapers
pedal.
and stuff?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
I wrote her a ticket. I'm like, no, this ain't safe. We're not doing this.
Can't even see out the window like a little porthole.
Yeah.
Can't even
Basically,
manipulate the brake. I'm like, no, we're done here. Yeah.
That's not safe.
No. You run into some interesting people out there. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Every day.
Oh man. So are there any areas up here that are like higher crime than others? I don't want to call out any cities, but I guess we could a little bit.
I guess in terms of just because of the population and people coming in for sightseeing, I would say, Coeur d'Alene would be a higher crime area, but it's a safe area.
Yeah.
I feel safe with my family downtown, Tubbs Hill, the lake. It has its standard stuff, but nothing worse than other places.
Yeah. That's good. And I kind of feel that way too. people always ask us that when they're thinking about moving here. It's like, oh, is this area good? Is this area good? I'm like, they're all
Anywhere,
they're all
anywhere
fine
around here.
Yeah, they're
is
like,
great.
is there any place we should avoid? Or like they're looking for the ghetto, and it's like, there's not a ghetto.
It's
Doesn't
not
exist
I
here.
haven't found it yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a good spot.
Yeah.
It really is.
Maybe a few trailer parks here and there that are less desirable, but that's everywhere really. So
absolutely.
I actually found, I was so disappointed. Was it the first year, second year we lived here? I found a hypodermic needle on the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Like as someone was taking the turn, it came out of the car or something. And then another day I found like a rather large bag of methamphetamine a couple blocks down. And I was
just
like,
on the sidewalk.
Just on the sidewalk. I was like, oh, hell no. So I did the right thing. I didn't piss any cops off and make them book it into found property or evidence. So I threw it in the trash. Yeah, I know that game. I'm like, no, they don't want to deal with that. So I threw it away. And then literally later that day, I saw this dude walking around town, this tweaker. And I was like, he was all pissed off. And I was like, he's looking for the bag. Yeah. Like,
sorry, dude.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't see a lot of tweakers around here.
No. And the drug trends are changing too. Everything. Well, I was a narcotics detective for a while. Back then we were buying a lot of meth, some heroin. Now it's a lot of fentanyl. I mean,
that's scary.
Nasty.
Yeah. One of my guys just busted a car of people on their way to Montana Saturday, I guess. Yeah, it was Saturday. They had 1,300 fentanyl pills.
Does it look a specific way, or do you have to like Nick test it to?
So we have like an electronic scanner called a True Narc. So we do that, but we're to the point now with fentanyl. We don't count the pills. We weigh them. We try not to touch them, go near them.
Yeah.
Because everything, we have Narcan for everything now. And we've seen, then we've heard the stories of people having to be brought back with Narcan. We've done it to citizens, but we haven't had that issue with any of our officers, like going down, like you see the videos, but we just don't mess with it. It's
super scary.
Yeah. Keep it in the bag, package it in our own K-pack and send it off to the lab. Let the professionals handle it for the measuring and the testing.
It was like not a big thing when I was working, thankfully, because that stuff's nasty.
Yeah,
that's newer.
It popped up probably 5 years ago, maybe a little less than that. But that's all it is now. Fentanyl
Interesting.
Pills. Yeah, we're seeing it all the time.
What does that make you feel like?
It's like an opiate, right?
It's like an opiate, kind of like the same effects of heroin.
Okay.
So, most people are, from what I've seen, they're smoking it off of tinfoil, and so we see a lot of, I'll pull cars over and there'll be used tinfoil or a roll of tinfoil in the car. It's like, who carries tinfoil in their car?
Yeah.
Like, do you have like a little barbecue in the back and you're wrapping up some potatoes and steak, or what are you doing? And then you'll see the tracks on it. Okay, now it's coming together.
Yeah. So, is it like cheaper than heroin? Is that why people are doing that?
Pretty expensive.
That's weird.
depending on the area.
Yeah.
I mean, where they're going out in Montana, it's $20-$25 a pill. So just depends on where you're going. Spokane, it's a lot cheaper. So, or Seattle. It's all coming up through that area and then coming out through Tri-Cities or whatever, coming into Idaho through to Montana.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the deal with no homeless people here?
I was just going to get into that.
I wish I had an answer for you. I don't know. It's just, I've dealt with it in terms of like state properties. I've gone, to the rest areas and people are camping for a long time.
Yeah.
And we've had to send them on their way, but because you're there to have a quick rest while you're driving and get back on your road trip, or, we'll let people stay a day or two, but then they're making a habit out of it and they're making it their home. So we'll go through, and then I've had a couple stories in the rest areas, go through, talk to the people, and, oh, you're drunk or you're high or you have a warrant or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with them in that regard. But yeah, most of the homeless population around here is always, from what I've seen, been on more of state properties, not like in the parks or downtown. Because I would assume that PD down there is having these people exit. So,
I can't figure out how they do it. I don't know if there's particular laws that they're actually enforcing, or I don't know, but
they probably have city ordinance or something.
Yeah.
But in terms of my job, it's a lot of state properties and stuff. And, if they overstay their welcome, then we can trespass them or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's, I hope that never changes, because once that starts to erode, then it's like a downward spiral. And then next thing you know, it's downtown Spokane and they're everywhere.
Well, yeah. And I mean, it's a beautiful city. We want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
And you go downtown Spokane and people are throwing up on the sidewalks.
Dude, it's
I've
bad.
literally seen that down there. I'm going to a restaurant and there's vomit on the sidewalk or people vomiting in front of you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why we feel safe going downtown and doing what we do, is because there aren't people that might not be in the right mind sitting on every corner and
No, it's super
doing
rare.
those things.
You'll see like one or two.
Yeah.
Super clean city.
Mhm.
Such a good place. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I can see why people want to move here.
Yeah.
Right.
Such
I
a
mean,
draw.
our kids, I mean, they're teenagers, but they walk around downtown by themselves and never had an issue. I don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, my wife, Jackie, she works downtown and I'm never worried about it.
No.
I worry more about her getting in a car crash than anything else,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
She was funny. We were driving back from the Parade of Homes the other day, and she just out of nowhere goes, we were like driving on Northwest and kind of by the college, and all of a sudden she goes, and then she goes, "Oh my gosh, I thought I saw tents down by the college, like homeless tents."
What was that? I saw it too, and I was like, "Oh, it kind of looked like a tent."
Yeah,
It was like
yeah. She's like, "Oh my god, I scared myself to death. Like they're here."
She did not tell me that.
Yeah,
that's good.
but it was not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, "Oh gosh, yeah, no, that would be a bad day." Bad day.
Right as you're going downtown.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Not here.
welcome
no.
to Cordo.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Ooh, yep.
I don't know if like the citizens would stand for it.
No, I don't think so. I know.
I feel like
wouldn't.
Probably
Just right, like just get
Yeah.
a posse together and just go take all their crap, and
Yeah.
throw it in a dumpster, and like get out of here. That'd be the nice way of doing it. I said that the PC way. I meant bring a couple baseball bats down. There's a cop in the room. I can't say that.
And I don't know. It's hard because you don't want to be insensitive,
Right.
to that situation. So I'm curious. It'd be nice to have someone on that does know what happens to the homeless that do come through here, because I've heard that we actually have some nice programs for homeless people and a good plan for them. So it's just not like get out and,
I did. I had a
you.
conversation
Yeah.
with a guy the other day, and I think it was Union Gospel Mission. I could be off on that, but there are missions in town that will assist these people if needed. But he said in Idaho, they're very strict. You can get help, but you're going to get drug tested. Like they're not going to put up with any of that crap. So
That's good.
yeah, I
That's
think
wonderful.
that
Yeah.
might be it. Otherwise, like if they want free stuff, they can just jump over the border to Washington and
Right.
get whatever they want and not have to put up with that. So
Well, it's different over there. I mean, I went to Baltimore for work for a conference, and people were smoking fentanyl right off their front porch as
Wow.
we're driving
Oh
down
my
to go to like
gosh.
an Italian restaurant. That stuff doesn't happen here. It
No.
might, but it's not going to happen for long.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah,
But even Spokane has gotten that way in certain areas.
it's such a
Oh,
bummer.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
It's
wanted to
cool
go.
to drive
Yeah, it's
down
so
there.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
if
cool.
you take that side of it out, it's got a real cool history, cool architecture, like lots of great restaurants and stuff. But I'm like, I don't have any desire. I don't want to be dealing with that.
Yeah.
Crazy people yelling at me. Nope. No thanks.
Yeah. Try not to go down there at nighttime.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh,
I
bet,
Go during
yeah.
the day where at least I can see everything that's approaching. me.
Yeah, I got some buddies on Spokane PD, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, they are a active department. That
Very
yeah,
call to call to call.
and it's like you don't feel like you're doing much of a difference in those kind of
Yeah,
calls.
I can imagine.
Yeah, you're fighting
Absolutely.
a tidal wave.
Yeah.
Not good. So yeah. Oh, well, I'm thankful we live in Idaho. Let me just say that
It's a good place.
it is a good place.
Very good.
Any other crime stuff we can talk about? I think we kind of touched on all of it. That was good. Driving, DUIs. Man. Oh, is it a crime? Do you have to wear a seatbelt in Idaho?
You do.
Okay,
So
I
it's
thought
a,
so.
It's a $10 ticket.
Really, $10?
Yeah,
That's
for kids, like anyone under 18, it's
Yeah.
a little. I think it's $67. 67. Been a while since I've written one of those tickets because most kids are usually in a car seat or wearing their seatbelt. But it's a $10, and it's not a primary violation, so I can't make a traffic stop for someone not wearing their seatbelt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would have to stop them for another violation, and then if I had observed the seatbelt before the traffic stop, that's fine. I just can't stop for it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's some of my favorite nonsense have come out of seatbelt stops for sure.
Yeah, and then, you don't have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle.
That
I
one
know either,
trips me
Yeah,
so
out.
that
it's
one
kinda
trips me out. Yeah.
You can tell me to wear a seatbelt, but I don't have to wear a helmet.
It's kind of weird, right? Yeah,
it's-
that was hard.
It's kind
for
of a
me.
tough argument too. Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, well, yeah. When I first moved here, and you see somebody on a motorcycle, like the old trooper in me was like, "What? Wait a minute! Oh, okay. I guess that's good. Yeah, it's weird." And then like 4-wheelers on the
Oh yeah.
on the road.
I go up to Athol. People are like, dude, it's Athol. Everybody rides a 4-wheeler down the road, or the razors that are literally driving on
Yeah.
the highway.
Yeah.
Down.
What are the limits on that? Are you just not allowed to go on like freeway?
So we actually had a pursuit of one on the interstate, but that was a whole other story. Yeah, you can't be driving those like on the interstate, but guys drive them through town. There's a lot of regulations within the code book on them, but they have to have a mirror, they have to have brake lights, turn signals, those kinds of things. But
gotcha.
if they're driving lawfully, I don't usually mess with them.
Yeah.
Unless there's like a DUI, some sort of indicator they're all over the road like that. Or driving recklessly or something.
Coors Light in their hand while they're driving their four-wheeler.
Yeah, I'm sure up in the mountains, that's all day long, but I don't get up in the mountains too often on patrol. So.
What about the riding in the back of trucks?
Totally legal.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Totally not allowed in California. I mean, when I was a kid, maybe. But so when we moved here and saw that all over the place, we were like, holy crap.
Yeah. Well, and that's the same thing with the seatbelt. Like, you're required to wear your seatbelt. Here's your $10 ticket, but you can ride in the bed of your truck.
Right.
You're fine.
Is there rules around it? Like, can they do that on the interstate?
Yeah. There's nothing
really?
saying.
No rules?
Yeah. I mean, you can literally, I can't think of any regulation that would prevent someone from riding in the bed of a truck.
Wow.
Now, it's not safe, obviously.
No. Yeah.
If you get in a crash, that's not going to end well for anybody.
Oh, no. Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. Like when I was a kid, I was always, if you're on a car trip, like they always stuck me in the back of we had an SUV. So I was in the back of the SUV, like no seatbelt. It was totally normal. And I look back on that and I'm like, oh my God, I can't handle that. Like, I can't believe you let me do that. What if you had a rollover? What if something happened? Yeah. Oh, my goodness,
we did that with, my dad had a, Chevy truck and then with a camper shell on it. And then we would go camping. And so they'd pack all the camping gear on the bottom. And then 2 or 3 of us kids would be in the back.
Yeah.
And lay back there the whole time for that 6-hour drive or whatever.
I rode all the way from, when I was 9, we moved from Pennsylvania to Alaska for a year and a half. And I rode in the back of a pickup truck the entire way it had a camper shell, but from Pennsylvania to Alaska.
Actually, remember, not to talk about police work the whole time.
No, we can't.
It's just a funny story. I was out working a Black Friday and it was probably 5 a.m. I mean, it was still dark and I stopped this car for something and I look in the back seat and there are 2 or 3 people sitting on top of 3 TVs stacked, like laying down flat in the car. So all the seats were covered, no seatbelts, and they're just sitting on top of these brand new, LED TVs. First of all, not safe. Secondly, you're going to crush your $1,000.
Yeah, what are you doing? What's happening here?
What are you doing here? Just some of the things people do to get their Black Friday deals. Wait till Cyber Monday and have it shipped to the house.
Even better.
Right. Yeah. Goodness.
Oh, what about gun laws in Idaho? I was doing some research because I wanted to do it. Yeah. I wanted to do like a YouTube video for our channel, like about the gun laws. So I was looking at them and I'm like, man, they're pretty freaking awesome.
They're fantastic.
But as law enforcement, is there any, because you can assume pretty much every car you stop, like there's probably a gun in there.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
there's at least one because of mine.
But yeah, good point. Good point.
But yeah, no, I have a lot of families still living on the East Coast. Aren't you afraid to stop people with guns? I'm like, I kind of expect everybody to have a gun. Yeah. If they don't have a gun, I'm usually wondering why not.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, everybody. Totally. I wouldn't say every car, but a lot of the cars I stop, there's a gun in there. I personally have never, maybe one issue, but that guy shouldn't have had a gun.
Yeah.
But most of the other people, they're super upfront about it. Hey, I have a gun. Cool. Thanks. Appreciate it. And off we go. I usually don't take guns from law-abiding citizens.
Right.
I have a gun. I'm not going to pull them from their gun. I just hang out with them at the window and conduct my business at the car and off we go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a lot of guns here in Idaho. I love it. I'm a big gun guy myself. So
the cool thing is that most of those people would probably help you on the side of the road if they needed to with that gun. So,
I mean, the support for law enforcement here in Idaho is fantastic.
That's something that really like attracts us to the area too. And I think probably attracts a lot of retirees here is that like you're loved here and supported. And that's a huge.
Well, coming from California, where we came from, where the last few years it's gotten really, really bad, where you don't even want to admit that you're in that type of work.
Right.
Anymore.
You have to live in hiding outside of work. It's so
and then to come here and then have it completely opposite, where you say what you used to do or you do, and people like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for your service. Yeah. It's like, it's crazy. Yeah. The difference.
Yeah. I'm definitely, I'm proud of what I do. It was my dream job to be a police officer. I don't go around waving the police flag on my days off. People still that thought of, or you get the story. I'm a police officer. This one time.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
always the
yeah.
negative story.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. I know. Trust me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about this ticket
Yeah.
I got.
God. Here we go.
Yeah.
Every family function. Just kidding.
Nonstop. I understand that pain. So you do competitive shooting too.
I do.
I wanted to talk about that a little
I've been
bit.
doing that since
Long time?
2014, I think. I started in 3-gun and then pretty much transitioned to USPSA, which is the thing I do most of my time.
Is there a lot of that up here as well?
Tons of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much all in Idaho, Montana, Washington, Oregon. I mean, every state has it, but those are the areas I usually shoot in,
Cool.
especially bigger matches.
Yeah.
I went out to Billings this summer for the Area 1 championship. It was great.
Nice.
Didn't shoot great, but it was a great match.
I imagine you not shooting great is still better than most people.
It was
so.
decent. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
pretty good. I wasn't happy with it.
Do you do like your own gunsmithing as well?
Every self-proclaimed gunsmith has a Dremel tool. So I've messed up a few frames and slides with a Dremel, but no, I don't do anything crazy. I do a lot of silicon carbide work. So it's basically just enhancing the grip of the gun. I like a super high traction gun. Basically, it actually cuts my hand open after practicing or shooting enough.
Yeah.
Because I don't want the gun going anywhere. So I really want to be able to grip it.
Gotcha.
So I do some of that stuff and for buddies and my own guns, but that's about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are there some good gun shops in town?
Tons of them.
Yeah. What's favorites?
Triple B Guns is one of my favorites. It's off of Government Way.
Okay.
One of the guys that works there retired from my department. So
cool.
Good guy. And they're just a good family that owns the business. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
East County Guns. I've been in there a few times.
Been in there.
Yeah.
A good store. I don't really know any of the guys there, but they have good stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they got the whole lineup of suppressors there.
yeah, they do. They do. Surprisingly, I don't own a suppressor.
I don't either.
It's just one of those things. Like I'm such a pistol guy.
Yeah.
I have 2 rifles. I have my 3-gun rifle, which is fully decked out, but I'm not going to put a suppressor on that.
Right.
And then I was able to purchase another gun that I had used for work, and then I bought it from just kind of as a gift to myself. I'm like, I want that gun, and haven't put a suppressor on it. I have a suppressor on my work rifle, but just not on any of my personals.
Oh.
A lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've thought about it too, and I'm like, I just don't. Maybe someday, just to do it, but I'm like, don't really have a need.
Yeah, I mean, they're super cool.
Yeah,
but I've also had issues where I've set one down and burnt something, or almost burned myself. I'm like, just for a quiet gun, I'm good. Yeah. But they are super cool. I mean, I really like them. They have their purpose. Just nothing. Everything. All my guns are centered around competition, so that's what I spend my money on.
Gotcha.
New pistol optics, new slides, whatever.
Does that transfer over to work somewhat?
I used to shoot a Glock in competition because I carry a Glock at work, but now I'm using kind of a fully customized SIG X5 Legion. I have a custom slide and all sorts of stuff on there. So it all translates. It's a different platform, but if you can shoot one gun, you can shoot one gun well. You can shoot them all.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So I would definitely say overall, Idaho has a fantastic gun culture.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't have to shoot guns here, but you should.
Yeah. That's true.
There's some good ranges too. I like Fernan is.
That's a great range.
Yeah.
I think you can shoot out to 350 yards up on the hillside.
Yeah, it goes way out.
Gong.
I didn't before. It's up there, which is awesome. And then tons of rifle and pistol bays to shoot in. So
I shoot. One of the competitions I shoot is out there monthly.
Cool.
So
nice.
They do 3-gun USPSA. I don't think they do IDPA. I've never really shot that, but they have a lot of good different programs out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. So, overall, I guess like one of the main questions we like to ask people is, what do you love about the community up here?
It's such a great place to live because the people are always happy. It seems like, where I come from in New York. I mean, yeah, you could wave to your neighbors and stuff, but you get down into the city, and I had some family that lived in New York City. You look at anybody or you wave at them and they're going to tell you what's up.
Yep.
So it's nice to come out here. I remember when I moved out, or I came out to visit the area, and I visited Boise and went to a restaurant with some family members, and people were so nice, always smiling, taking care of you. Customer service is fantastic. So just the people are generally happy.
Yeah.
Happy to go to work, happy to be here. And the same thing up here. When I came up to Coeur d'Alene, I had not even come up here. I got the job and they said, you're going to be in Coeur d'Alene. Okay. Never been before. Didn't even know how to, I called it Coeur d'Alene, and a bunch of my academy mates were like, dude, we got to work on that. So I'd never been up here, and I showed up and I knew this was the place.
Yeah.
Everybody's so happy, and they love their area.
Yeah. No, I think we've had the same experience. Like anytime walking around downtown, and I can never tell if they're like tourists or they're locals, but either way, they're both happy to be here, and they're always like smiling and talking and hey, like that. Yeah, that is it.
Yeah, to be able to hold the door for someone and they'll thank you and give you a smile. How's your day? I love that stuff.
Yeah,
tight knit community.
Totally. Yeah, my go-to indicator is the DMV. Like you go to the DMV and you see how they act, and the DMV here, they're very nice.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So
except everybody knows the secret. If you go out of Kootenai County to a different DMV, you're in and out in like 5 minutes. Kootenai, there's still, there's, an hour wait or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you can do the Q-less app and you can make an appointment, but you're still waiting.
Yeah.
But the people are nice.
That's where we're like walking distance to the one here in Coeur d'Alene. So it's like, but when we did our
quick, I just went the other day and I did the Q-list and it was like, I can't remember, 7 people ahead of me or something and 20-something minute wait. And I was like, okay, well, I went upstairs to do something. And then all of a sudden I look on my phone and I'm number 1 and I have 2 minutes. And so I like hop in my car real quick and drive. I mean, it's like, I don't even know, quarter mile down the road.
Yeah.
So, and I get there and right as I walk in, they're like calling my number. And I was like, oh my gosh, I won the lottery.
Right, look at that. There you go.
But yeah, it was easy.
I think when we did our driver's test, we went to Post Falls. Though.
We did. It was, that was COVID time. So it was, you couldn't get in for weeks and weeks. You couldn't even get an appointment. So you had to, on the queue list, you had to like every Thursday they released the new week or something. And if you were like rushing to get an appointment.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was crazy. So then we ended up
6 months, I think, or 4 or 6 months just to get in to register a car. I mean, I would run plates and like, it's expired by 6 months. All right.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you going to do?
Everybody can get in.
They can't get in. So we ended up going to Post Falls to do, I think it was a driver's license because I had pre-register us before we moved here to get an appointment right when we moved here for the cars. But yeah, because we were warned, don't drive around with California plates.
I've heard that a time or two. But I was driving around with New York plates 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know which one's better. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Pro tip, by the way, if you are coming here from out of state, make sure to read through the manual a few times before you take your test.
So many people fail.
Yes.
Know what open range is.
Yes.
It is not a running stove.
There you go. Yeah. So read the manual a couple times, the booklet or whatever it is, and you'll be fine. Yeah, I got 100, by the way. Just
nice.
Yeah. How do you even remember that?
I don't remember what I got.
Because
I know I passed.
Well, it's easy to remember 100. I was because honestly, I was a little bit terrified. I'm like, I'm coming in, and I told the lady like what I did previously for a job, and I was like, man, I got a lot on the line now. Like, I better get this right. So maybe she just gave me maybe she.
No, it's a computerized system.
But I studied because I didn't want to fail.
Yeah,
like not an option. Anyway, so there you go. Licenses. Registration is super cheap up here too, by the way.
Yeah, 60 something bucks a year.
It's crazy cheap.
Jackie takes care of all that stuff.
I can tell you. I can tell you that my truck now that I currently drive in California would be like $800 a year.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And you pay for 2 years here, and I think it's like I think it's
120,
140
maybe.
Yeah, maybe
somewhere in there. Yeah,
it's fantastic. So
we always get the state parks pass.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to have.
So that adds to it, but it's not much. It's like $20 or something.
We used it on Sunday. We went up to Farragut.
That's a great.
It is super nice. Yeah,
super cool.
Ran around with the kids up there. It was a beautiful day too, and we didn't pay to get in because we have our parks pass.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's another good thing to have.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, shall we call it?
Yeah.
Dude, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's really cool.
It was fun. I'll have to have you on the other podcast sometime.
Sure.
I have another podcast for first responders called Copy That Radio. And that's always a good time too. That usually involves bourbon. So the stories get a little more risque. Yeah.
I have a number of them.
Oh, yeah, I imagine you do.
We all do.
Well, Justin, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you.
It.
And that's that. See you guys next time.